Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. You're good-looking. Job is looking for and finding the good. You found good in abundance because you've chosen to tune in consciously and conscientiously to Ion Las Vegas with your humble host, Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy. Notice I didn't say the ambassador of joy. The ambassador of joy. And boy, are you going to get an extra dose of joy today. So, in this show, the reason you tuned in is because we discuss something that just will make you happier and healthier and wealthier. Who doesn't want that? So I am privileged to speak to millions of people every month because of my podcast and such. And I do in-person appearances here and outside of a place called Las Vegas. Whenever I mention those two words, Las Vegas, people lean in, open up their ears and their eyes. They always say, tell me more. So you're going to hear a lot more from one of the most interesting, energetic people you ever had the pleasure of meeting. And that's what Las Vegas is all about. It's a place of energy. It's a place of enthusiasm. It's a place of resilience and growth. And I got to tell you a little data point. I think you'll enjoy this a lot. So if you take the number of people that live in and around New York City, and all of the people that live in and around Chicago, and all of the people that live in and around Los Angeles, and you add in the entire population of the state of Florida, it doesn't add up to the number of people that come to Las Vegas in a given year. 41 million people come here because it is a place of energy and excitement and enthusiasm. And there's nobody that embodies that more than this most amazing, wonderful being named Robin.
Barry!
A big hello to 519,721 people around the world.
Hello, everybody. Happy to talk with you, my new best friends.
Well, she is, because I am the ambassador of joy. She is the physical female embodiment of joy. So let's just jump right in and talk. I want to mention something. If I tell you all of the things that Robin has accomplished in her short life on this earth, it would take the rest of the show. But I'm going to give you 3 data points because they speak to the being that you're going to be hearing and listening to. By the way, if you're able to watch, it's much better than listening because she's not only smart, but she's attractive in every sense of the word. So she is a remarkably successful person, a founder of a great and very important real estate organization, a company called Compass. This is Connecticut. So she's one of the founders of Connecticut Compass, and obviously not just the founder, one of the top producers in the organization. And in addition to that, she is Miss Connecticut Senior America. We'll talk about that. And the third thing is, and this is just so fun, there's something called Pro-Am. Pro-Am, as you can imagine, means professional, amateur, mixed together. She is the #1 Pro-Am ballroom dancer in America. You can't make this stuff up. That's her. Okay, Robin, let's just jump in until you you practice and you share and you live with this superpower, as you've dubbed it, called joy. So we want to hear how Robin encapsulates and transfers and shares joy with people.
Yeah, thank you so much, Barry. This is going to be a fun conversation because there's nothing I like better than talking to someone who is just living joy, which obviously you are too. Look, everyone has a different center, a core, that's where the joy comes from. Right up at the top, I'm going to say my core is pleasing God. You could call it Yahweh, you could call it Mickey Mouse. I don't care. It's just that love flow. And it's always been that way for me since I was a young child, just having a deep knowledge that there's something bigger than myself. I grew up in a very strange situation for 2 reasons. Number 1, our house was literally at the bottom of a hill where the Catholic Church was at the top. And I have an amazing friend for 67 years. We're deep, deep friends. And we played in the church. We sang in the church. We were in processions in the church. There was no boundary between life outside the And it was just very unusual. So from the beginning, that was just all one for me. The other thing is, my grandfather and my parents owned and operated a nursing home in New Haven, Connecticut. So again, from a young age, my siblings and I would be in the nursing home, interacting with the residents. As I grew up, I worked in the laundry, I worked in the kitchen, I worked in arts and crafts, I helped be a bookkeeper. And being around older people of all different levels of ability, and day in and day out, and listening to their stories, really opened up a whole world. And I saw people who were very confined, who still had a vibrancy and a joy. And I saw some people who were bitter. So from a young age, again, I could say, what do I want to be as a person?
Okay. Wait, I want to put you on pause for a moment. We, thank God, have a worldwide audience. 85%, 88% of people are under the age of 35. And I want to unpack 3 data points here that just touched me to the very core. One of them is, you mentioned the term nursing home. Others, you mentioned a lifelong friendship. And number 3 is that you did many different tasks given as a younger person. So the ability for a young person, whatever the age, by the way, from the age of 6 and above, to be able to be given tasks and given in such a way that, okay, this is your task, go do it. And to be able to accomplish it, and by the way, sometimes not do it right, some do it right, it doesn't matter, but you were around people who encouraged you to learn. That's one of the most important things that can happen to any human being. Number 2, as you said, you worked in a nursing home environment. By definition, these are people who are older. Now, as a young person, they're much older than you, by a half a century almost. And the ability to be around people generationally different is something that is oftentimes missing in today's environment. I think you'll agree with me on that.
I'll agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to, because I want to bring out how this shaped you, because you said the big word D. You made a decision in your life. Let's go with that, Robin. Talk to us about being able to make a decision and say, oh, this is how I want to be. I don't want to be amongst the bitter and complainers. I want to be over here.
Right. Okay, I'm going to tell you how I did that, but I want to touch on 3 things you just mentioned. So working in the nursing home, number 1, my grandfather held us to you got to be doubly good because you're an owner, a higher standard than a regular person. But at the same time, he held us to a humbling standard. You have to work at the lowest level in this nursing home so you can relate to every person. And that shaped me, because I don't see a difference in people in terms of, I don't care. And in real estate, I'm with, names that you would recognize. I don't care. I only care if you're nice or not nice. Are you kind or not kind? And it goes back to being shaped by realizing who people are on the inside, and that we're all equal. Working with the cleaners at the nursing home, they were fabulous. They were really fun. So I wanted to touch on that. And the other thing I wanted to touch on for the young people is, I was given tasks, but I was also given freedom within the task to do it the way I wanted. So I was doing arts and crafts. The arts and crafts director didn't say, this is how you're going to put together the model with Mr. Carter. They would give me the model and let me do it with Mr. Carter as we wanted. So it was allowing me to develop my creativity, but also learn that, I had to take direction as well. And I did have bosses. So I just think for young people today, those are some, important and interesting things. Back to your question and say your question again, if you don't mind.
Okay, I want to emphasize something you just said here. The ability to do it your way. That is so wonderful, because it rarely happens. Most often people are given tasks and given direction and say, this is what you want to do and this is how we want you to do it. The ability to think. So again, I'm going to emphasize we have a worldwide audience. And I talk about this very often, that everybody that listens to the show, the reason they tune in is because everybody has what we call an American mentality. They may live in a very constricted environment, whether it's Pakistan and Bangladesh, in the former Soviet Russia, we have people listening from all over the world. But everybody has an American mind, which means expansive. I have energy, even if they don't live here. You don't have to live here geographically. You want to live here in your mind. So what Robin is sharing with us is that ability to say, you know something, I can do things the way I think it can be done. And by the way, if it doesn't work out, okay, that's an American attitude. Would you agree with that, Robin?
I would agree, Barry, but I have to quantify doing it within some sort of structure. So I am not the type of person that will just go rogue and do my thing. I will do it within, and I'll maybe push on the boundaries a little bit. I just did that this week in an ad for one of my listings in real estate. It's completely different than what we would normally see, but I made sure that the marketing department approved it. Same thing in anything I do. I don't know why I like to push the edges, but I make sure I check it out so I'm not doing anything disrespectful.
Okay, that respect is wonderful. I want to talk about your ballroom dancing. I really want to talk about real estate. We'll do that a little later.
Yeah.
I really want to talk about ballroom dancing now, and I'll tell you why. Number one, because I not just think, I know dancing is one of the most positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant activities that any human being can be involved with. I don't care if you dance by yourself like a whirling dervish, you dance with a partner, you're dancing in a group, whatever it is, the ability to move, what we call motion is lotion. And so I would like to know, first of all, please explain to most people, including me, what the heck is pro-am ballroom dancing? What does it mean? How does one get judged? How'd you take it up? When did you start this and why?
Okay, I'll start with a very quick review of my dance career. I had a mom that was the type that wanted you to try everything. And I started dance, ballet, tap, jazz at a very young age, 4 years old. Comes recital time in a real theater. I've got the costume on, yellow raincoat, red flower. She's got the lipstick on me, my mom. I get to wear lipstick. I step on the stage, the lights go on. I am thrilled to be there. That's the start of my dance journey. Continue on. I'm dancing in the basement of Peggy McCarthy to the Beatles and to, the Jones. I'm just dancing. I continue to dance. I get to Georgetown University. It becomes liturgical dance, disco dance, modern dance. Everyone knew me as the dancer that only wore the powder blue Sears and Roebuck jumpsuit. 25 years ago, I go to my reunion. Are you dancing? No, I'm not dancing. I'm raising kids. I'm working out. I go to my gym. Why aren't I dancing? I mention it to someone. They say, see that guy? There's a ballroom dance studio. Why don't you try it? I show up. They see that I can dance. They start me competing. Pro-am means you dance with a professional dance teacher. You're the amateur. You're divided by age group and level and style. So there's international dancing, ballroom, which you're in his arms the whole time. And then there's American, which Americans, it's a little more free. That's what you see on Dancing with the Stars. You see the American style. Within that, there's rhythm, which are things like cha-cha and rumba and paso doble. I used to do that when I'm younger, but there's high heels. And there's, I know, go baby. And there's American Smooth, which is what I do now. And that's what I have won 6 national titles in and what I was in 2024 number 1.
We went from going to the gym, playing, and all of a sudden go over there and learn, and now 6 championships. We have sponsors that love our show. We wouldn't have them on if we didn't think they're worthy of your time. So we're going to be right back with more of this wonderful, amazing, bountiful being named Robin, who is rocking our world with joy and dancing. Be right back after this brief message. Don't go away. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. If you're good-looking, because I was looking for and finding the good, our cup runneth over with good. Her name is Robin Kencel, and she's just so fun. F-U, capital N, capital N. That's our 4-letter F-U word, Robin. you, capital N, capital N. She's so much fun because, you know why she's fun? Because she tries things. She's not afraid to go out there, to stumble and move and do things like that. I'm going to share with you an interesting word that I learned from one of the most remarkable human beings that's on the planet. His name is Bernie Siegel. Bernie Siegel, people can look him up. By the way, everything's in the show notes about Robin. Don't take any notes. There's so much there. You can learn all about her. It's in the show notes. Just go there. So Bernie Siegel has written some of the most famous books about curing cancer. And part of the way he understood curing cancer, this goes back 50 years, and he was almost ostracized from medicine for it. He told people, learn how to be happy, learn how to live in joy. That was Bernie Siegel. He revolutionized the world of cancer. He has a great line he taught me. He says, guidance, Guidance. Guidance stands for God, you, and I dance.
I love that.
So this was, okay, you just left us with 6 pro-am. Now we know what pro-am means. So there's a professional dancer working with somebody who's not professional, and together you make a team, and now you dance and you compete. And you've won 6 national titles, not local, not church, not state, national titles.
Yes. And you know, that sounds easy, but Barry, it's not easy. I was looking around 2 weeks ago at the United States Dance Championships. I finished as a finalist, but I was looking around at the final 6 and I thought, wow, I am so impressed. These are women who are 50 to 65. I mean, they are good. And there's nothing I like better when someone stops Dima, who's my partner, and I, and says, hey, which one of you is a professional? Now, that doesn't happen that often, but I'm just saying it's a lot of hard work. And within this journey, I have had to have 2 hips replaced. And last year, I broke my foot because we weren't placing that well. And my coach said, Robin, get out there and do something so they don't forget you. And I don't know, my brain went to smashing my foot on Dima's heel. And by the way, that took me out for 14 weeks. After I cleaned out my contacts on my phone and I couldn't think about what else to do, I thought, I've always wanted to try acting. So now I'm on this whole new journey in improvisational acting, which, talk about falling off a cliff. If you know improv acting, they give you a word, you get on the stage, you don't write the script and you go.
Oh, wait, Robin, wait, this is too much fun. Okay, F-U, capital N, because I also need you. First of all, I want to tell you a great acronym for the word joy. Are you ready? Because this is you. You mentioned it. Joy stands for Journey of You. That's the ultimate joy, isn't it? Journey of You. You said the word journey. That's what sparked me to tell you this. I want you and I need you to share with people your journey in the world of real estate. You see, it's one thing to talk about dancing and it's fun and things, but you said it's hard work, and it's supposed to be. It's effort, because you're not there just to dance. You want to win. See, that's it. You are a driven winner. Winners compete to win. They don't just compete to be there. So you need to win. Am I correct on that?
I'm going to tell you something, Barry. If you go wanting to win, which my coach and my partner said last year, that was my problem. I was going to win and I wanted it desperately because I knew I was already going to be #1 in the country based on my ranking. You get sidetracked. I'm really trying to change this mindset. I got to do the journey for the beauty of the journey. And guess what? I believe in myself. It's going to work out. Same thing with the pageant coming up in 3 weeks. I am really well prepared. If I go in there and think I want to win, I'm going to miss all the fun. FUNN, according to Barry. I need to go and love every moment of the minute that the now.
By the way, just people should know that was not scripted.
No.
I was hoping, and I knew that you were going to use that as a pathway to make people understand that we're here to progress and love the journey. When you do that, everything else is beside the point. And then, okay, so fine, you won the trophy. That That's extra. You're there for the process. Now, I want to talk about, I want to talk about being an accomplished real estate professional, because this is also a very
Yes.
amazing area of business. You're dealing with a very sensitive issue, people buying a home or selling a home. So you're dealing with human emotions. You're dealing oftentimes with sometimes significant amounts of money, and everything has to be done with such detail. The paperwork is voluminous, but even getting there, to be able to find people, it's making matches in heaven. It's what God does. So tell us about part of your journey as a real estate professional.
Sure. So I never thought about being a real estate broker. It was never anything I ever thought about. In fact, it's my fifth career. And it's a career that a friend of mine was watching me, who she and her husband owned a real estate boutique. And they looked at me in Greenwich, Connecticut, which is a very luxury market, and said, you know what? You should be doing this. The interesting thing about real estate is you have to be good at so many things. Think about it. It's marketing. You're marketing homes. It's being part psychologist, practically therapist. I mean, you're right. There's so many emotions, and being able to read people and adapt yourself to what's going to be helpful to them. It's finances. You've got to be able to, this is your biggest asset most of the time. I've got to make sure that it's a good investment for you. It's negotiation. Whoever teaches you how to negotiate, it's so many things. And you've got to understand the product. Now, luckily, I have an MBA from Kellogg, so it's a really good MBA. So I've got a lot of business background. And luckily, I had no money when I got out of business school. So I used my MasterCard, and for $3,500, I bought a townhouse that was being built. I customized it a little. I sold it before it was done, and I made $30,000. And I kept working like that and hiring people, and became passionate about restoring older homes. So I know a lot about construction, and I know a lot about interior design. So I actually know a lot about the product. That's why it made sense for me to be in it. Now, I just didn't want to be a regular real estate broker. I just, I'm kind of a gutsy person. The first assignment ever I got was someone I knew. I saw they were building a house. They lived in a beautiful house. And I approached them because you can't live in two houses. So my first sale was $13 million. And that put me on the leaderboard. Now, that was a combination of my brain, my creativity, and being in the right place at the right time. Right? And so yep.
I want to mention, because we've talked about this on this show and my other podcast, The Joy of Living. There are two pathways to being involved with business. There's the pathway of going out and getting and pushing, etc. And then there's what I call the more productive way, the law of attraction. And you just had mentioned, really, without using the words, the law of attraction. You had the thought, you had the idea, you knocked on doors. So you have to go out and be gutsy, but you weren't chasing. What you were doing was you were creating an atmosphere that enabled people to do what's best for them. The result is that when it's best for others, you benefit. My father taught me something at the wonderful age of 9. We lived in a place called Boston, Massachusetts, where it snowed in the winter and it's cold. And I'll make the story very short. And one day when they called off school, thankfully, 9 years old, I said, I'm going to go out and shovel snow. So I went out and shoveled snow the whole day for 12 hours, 9-year-old. Didn't even have breakfast, lunch break. Came back, I made $55. Now, to put that in perspective, my allowance was 25 cents. So I came back very happy. My father's making me chocolate. And he says, my dear beloved son, which you like to say, how do you spell business? I'm smart, 9 years old. Business. He says, that's right. Notice that the U comes before the I. Whenever you take care of the others, the you, the I will always be taken care of. Robin is the embodiment of that, whether it's in real estate, in dancing, in everything she does and touches, she's thinking about what's the best I can do for the others. By definition, I'm taken care of.
Barry, if you were here, I would give you the biggest hug because this is the holy grail. It's the relationships. It is. It's what it's all about. I mean, and that's the FUNN.
Oh my gosh, she is so wonderful. Just what a delight. Let's go back, not back, let's go continue, go forward and share with people. You pronounce in your very being, and also when you speak to people, what you call the superpower of joy. Tell us about the superpower of joy.
So I did tell you that my superpower of joy is named God. And in fact, when I was at Georgetown, I was thinking of joining a religious order. I fancied myself a nun. I really liked the flying nun on TV. I thought I could be her, the dancing virgin. And in fact, I started with a spiritual director, which for those who don't know what that is not therapy. It's not Bible study. It's someone who walks alongside you and helps you notice how God or your higher being is working in your life. So I actually did go and live with the nuns for 3 months and realized I am way too ill-behaved to take rules of obedience. So that didn't work, but it didn't stop my journey trying to figure out how did God make me and how can I live into the purpose? I have always had a spiritual director. And about 5 years ago, my fabulous Jesuit priest and I decided that I would do the 19th day annotation. You could either go away for 30 days in silence and do it, or you can do it over 10 months. And it's a very deep dive into understanding Christ and your relationship with him. And halfway through my deep dive, Father Jerry said, I think you would make a good spiritual director. So I did the 4-year program. I am a spiritual director. I have an active practice. It takes a few different forms. And listen, it's so great to just notice all the goodness in the world.
You hear this word? Notice, observe, be present. There is nothing more powerful, more wonderful, more loving, more opening, is there? And being here now, in living in a moment where you are tingling with joy.
No, okay, so Barry, you and I only met today. So I'm going to see if you line up with this with me. I think one of the important parts of being in the world filled with joy is taking the white space, taking the quiet, taking the alone time to refill and connect to that core. What do you say?
Absolutely, yes. I want to applaud you personally. And that's heard by hundreds of times. By the way, I urge you, always do this. And thank you, you're doing it anyway. Share this with 5 people. You want to share with 50 or 100, that's great also. But at least 5 people so we can touch 2+ million people around the world. I want to applaud you. And with all of the things that are in your life and happening in your life, and the real estate and the dancing and the relationships that you understand intuitively and acted upon it, that silence is one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful of all the aspects of living in joy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you can't hear anything if you're not silent. Even if you don't know what you're hearing. One of the practices, my daily practice, is centering prayer. You probably know about centering prayer. It's not meditation, but it is got some features where you're just sitting in silence and you're just letting your thoughts go by and you're just expecting. You don't hear any voice. I don't hear any voice in my ear. I don't even come out of the 10 or 15 minutes every day thinking, oh, I grew today. But somehow my heart changes because 3 months later, a little something that I'm not proud of that was there about somebody or something is gone. It's melted. So I just, it's a gift. Taking the time to sit in quiet is a gift.
Okay, I want to share with you before we move our time together. The word gift is a great acronym. It stands for Godly Inspiration, facilitating transformation. Oh, I'm going to give you another gift, if I may. An acronym for your name, Robin. May I?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, ROBIN. You said it. Relationships open bountiful insights naturally.
You'd be a great improviser. Thank you. You would.
This is
Thank you for that. I wrote that down.
this is so F you, capital N.
And
Well, I'm loath to say the words we're going to say right now. We're coming to a close on our time together. I have 3 quick questions for you, remarkable Robin, and they are: number 1, you ready?
yes.
Will you come back again?
Oh, this has been so fabulous, Barry. Please invite me back.
Okay, thank you. That's number 1. Number 2, Robin, you only have 80 seconds to answer this. What is your most fervent desire?
The same that I told you at the start of the program, to please God and be useful to him. That's it. End of story.
Number 3, may I give you a hug in front of 521,717 people around the world? Let me tell you what HUG stands for. Ready? Heartfelt, unlimited giving. 1, 2, 3. Remember, you're listening to Eye on Las Vegas with your humble host, Barry Shaw, the ambassador of joy, amazing Robin Kencel. She is the embodiment of joy. But I got to tell you something. This show is not about Robin, great being that she is, not about Barry, fabulous fellow. The show is about you. YOU, you becoming the best you possible. Because when you're the best you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony, create more joy, happiness, peace, and love. And we have a prayer from Robin and Barry to all of you. Go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad, go make a difference. Robin, don't go away.